Amy smiled. Of course. Why? Amy said, you're a young lady from a wealthy family, and you're Granny Zhang's personally acknowledged granddaughter. What kind of man couldn't you have? Why would you need to get involved with Deputy Manager Yang? Even if it came to that, CEO Jiang is your uncle. If you truly wanted to get ahead, wouldn't it be easier to just butter up your uncle? The pavilion nearest the water gets the moonlight first. After all, what a convenient advantage indeed. So, around 3 in the afternoon, Yunyan watched Yang Li emerge from the CEO's office, clearly displeased. Yang Li's expression was quite grim. Looking through the glass door at Jiang Yunyan, his expression was even grimmer. Just as her heart was pounding, her eyes unfortunately met his. Yunyan quickly averted her gaze, and immediately afterward, the phone on her desk rang. She didn't even need to think to know who it was. Yunyan took a deep breath and answered. Sure enough, a deep voice from the other end said, "Come in." Yunyan's head was buzzing. She could not go in. She had no choice but to brace herself, stand up, walk to the CEO's office door, knock twice, and push it open. Jiang Yunyan sat behind his desk, his gaze like daggers. The moment the office door closed, his voice chillingly rose. When Yunyan heard this, her scalp tingled. Gossip really kills, she thought. But at the same time, she felt quite wronged and couldn't help but retort. Do you believe everything others say? Don't you have your own judgment? My work and life are practically all under your watchful eye now. How could I be having an ambiguous relationship with another man? No sooner had she spoken than Jiang Yunyan paused slightly. Seeing this, Yunyan immediately understood. He wasn't talking about the rumors concerning her and Yang Li. Then, Yunyan suddenly felt awkward. Jiang Yunyan didn't get angry after her barrage of retorts. In fact, he smiled, though she couldn't tell if it was from amusement or exasperation. Yunyan, you're quite something. I haven't even had a chance to settle this score with you, and you're already impatient to lay your cards on the table. Yunyan swallowed with difficulty. I have a clear conscience. There's no laying cards on the table to speak of. First, let's talk about the project, Jiang Yunyan said, his tone once again indifferent. Though not as chilling as before, the calmer his voice, the more serious it seemed. What's going on with Si Tingyuan? Actually, after Yunyan realized Jiang Yunyan wasn't bringing up the rumors, she had a faint premonition that it was most likely about the project. The situation was roughly as follows. The first division of the major project group, which was the project department headed by Bai Li, was currently primarily responsible for the preliminary development of the Nanzhou project. The main project itself was, of course, the largest part predominantly controlled and completed by Zhongshe. However, the Nanzhou project also required partners for later stages of engineering, so open bidding had begun even before the project officially launched. Among them, Huang Jifa got a good deal, essentially given the green light by Jiang Yunyan. Although it was only a peripheral project, it was enough for Huang Jifa, as it meant connecting with the influential Beijing circles. However, Yang Li finalized the main contractor and placed the contractor's complete proposal on the CEO's desk, indicating that this was the major project group's recommendation. The personnel who approved it included Yunyan. In other words, Yunyan not only didn't reject the Si family's involvement, but actively supported it. Of course, the final decision on the list rested with Jiang Yunyan. But as soon as Jiang Yunyan saw the submitted list, an inexplicable rage flared up in his heart, especially when he saw Yunyan's involvement. Yunyan looked at him, her expression quite calm, and asked, "What are you so angry about? What do you think I'm angry about?" "I don't know." Jiang Yunyan pursed his lips, his jaw tight, making his expression chillingly severe. After a long silence, he said, Si Tingyuan is eyeing you like a tiger, and I'm supposed to put money in his pocket? Yunyan sighed softly. Eyeing me like a tiger? I haven't been in contact with him at all. Now, won't you be able to contact him? Yunyan took a deep breath. Actually, you know perfectly well that the best contractor for the Nanzhou project is the Si family. Jiang Yunyan narrowed his eyes slightly, a clear danger emanating from him. But Yunyan was fearless, meeting his gaze. What you're unwilling to admit, I will say, Zhongshe's influence is in the north, while the Si family's influence is in the south. Nanzhou is more like a hotly contested area between north and south. In fact, before you returned, the Jiang family didn't pay much attention to Nanzhou, which allowed the Si family to exploit the void and establish a certain foundation there. Now you intend to develop Nanzhou, but because of the Si family's presence, you'll inevitably feel somewhat powerless. She analyzed the current situation, word by word. Jiang Yunyan's voice was cold. What are you trying to say? I know you intend to swallow the Si family's territorial influence in Nanzhou, Yunyan stated directly. Jiang Yunyan looked at her. Then after a long pause, he suddenly smiled. Yunyan, I truly underestimated you. Am I really that easy to underestimate? Yunyan thought. After all, I graduated from a well-known business school, didn't I? Go on, Jiang Yunyan said, picking up a pen and twirling it between his long fingers. Yunyan stared at his fingers, thinking he probably wanted a cigarette more. One mountain cannot hold two tigers. Just like your thoughts, the C family must have the same idea, especially since Si Tingyuan's cooperation with the Yu family, though seemingly successful, didn't actually bring him much benefit. Swallowing Nanzhou to prevent your Jiang family from entering the game should be his most direct thought. She looked at him, her tone firm. But the reality is that the east wind cannot prevail over the west wind, nor can the west wind subdue the east wind. A covert struggle between the Si and Jiang families would only benefit a third party. Moreover, the Nanzhou pie is too big. It's impossible for either you or Si Tinji to gobble it all up alone. Jiang Yinyan sneered. So you think he'd be willing to cooperate with the Jiang family? Si Tingyuan doesn't want to cooperate with the Jiang family. He wants to cooperate with Zhongshe, with you. Why do you say that? Jiang Yinyan asked, a half-smile playing on his lips. Yinyan met his gaze. Because you want to seize power within the Jiang family, and he wants to maintain his position within the Si family. If the two of you fight, it'll be a lose-lose situation. But once you cooperate, it's a powerful alliance. He's not stupid. Why would he fight alone when he can leverage your influence as the Beijing Circle's prince? Similarly, you can leverage the Si family's influence in the Shanghai Circle. So how could you possibly waste such an opportunity? Jiang Yinyan's lips curved slightly. He didn't speak, just stared at her as if appraising her. His gaze made her skin crawl. Just as she was about to ask if she had said something wrong, she saw him raise his hand and gesture toward her. Come here, Yinyan instinctively replied. I won't come over. Just say what you have to say from there. Jiang Yinyan raised an eyebrow slightly. Aren't you afraid I'll say something that embarrasses you? Yinyan watched him warily. He smiled unrestrainedly. Large swathes of rosy light streamed in from outside the window, bathing him in light and shadow, making him look like a glittering gem. Perhaps it was the light, but the deep amber in his eyes seemed as fiery as molten lava. His slightly pursed lips were beautifully shaped and full, every subtle curve just right. He was no longer as serious as before. Even his posture relaxed. He sat there, his black shirt accentuating his defined muscle lines. For example, how you resisted at first in bed, then clung to me later. Yunyan rushed forward without another word. All right, stop talking. A little closer, Jiang Yinyan said. Yunyan braced herself. People outside will see. There's already too much gossip. She looked piteous, standing there like a rosebud about to bloom. Her crystal-clear eyes were like deep lake water. In her business attire, her skin was exceptionally fair, like porcelain under moonlight, and her graceful figure swayed like dancing willow catkins. Jiang Yinyan smiled, then raised his hand to press a button, and the blinds slowly closed. Yinyan turned her head, startled, then spun back to stare at Jiang Yinyan. What are you doing? Are you crazy? Her immediate thought was that his madness was acting up again. Don't worry, I'm not that inconsiderate of the occasion. It's you who's afraid of outsiders misunderstanding, so I'll simply cut off their prying eyes, Jiang Yinyan said unhurriedly. After all, what we're going to discuss next is rather private. So, come a little closer. Yunyan grumbled inwardly. Asterisk, have you ever cared about the occasion? If you wanted to, you'd probably do it even now. Asterisk. Seeing her not move, Jiang Yinyan didn't get angry. He got up, walked around to the front of the desk, leaned against the edge, and reached out a hand to her. It was clear he had given her an out. Yunyan had to take it whether she wanted to or not. She took 2 steps forward. Jiang Yinyan extended his arm and pulled her over. You said you wouldn't touch me, Yunyan gasped. Not even your waist? Jiang Yinyan unexpectedly asked. Yunyan. Fine. Tell me, Jiang Yinyan said, holding her, still casually leaning against the desk's edge. Indeed, he showed no sign of taking further advantage of her. But his smile was sinister. When he smiled, the whole atmosphere seemed to shift, making one instinctively want to keep their distance. This kind of smile seemed to pierce through people's hearts, making them uneasy. Are you too familiar with Si Tingyuan, or with me? He asked nonchalantly, but Yunyan felt a chill run down her spine. A loaded question. Answer it wrong, and who knew what he might do? Yunyan met his gaze and said, I merely understand the intricate web of interests involved. All under heaven bustle for gain. Only when common interests exist can relationships between people last long. Jiang Yinyan smiled, but he was clearly not satisfied with her answer. He lifted her chin, looking directly into her face. Then do you think I will agree to the cooperation? Yes, Yunyan said with certainty. It's a huge profit for a small investment. You have no reason not to cooperate. Who says there's no reason? What reason? For example, he could use this project to get close to you, Jiang Yinyan said, caressing her red lips, his eyes gradually darkening. Yunyan allowed his fingers to caress her, neither fleeing nor avoiding. You're overthinking it. Yun Yin, you were once a socialite skilled at navigating social circles. Don't you know what men are like? Jiang Yin leaned closer. The more gentlemanly a man appears, the more wicked he is at heart. His gaze at you might seem clear, but in reality, all he's thinking about is how to pin you down. Yun Yin looked up at him. For example, you. Yes, for example, me. Jiang Yin didn't get angry. Instead, he laughed. But I don't need to think about it. If I want to, I can do it any time. Seeing that he was no longer serious, Yun Yin tried to push him away, but he wrapped his arms around her even tighter. The squeeze made her gasp. Don't make that sound, Jiang Yin said, lowering his face to lightly nibble her neck, his voice hoarse. I won't be able to resist. Yun Yin's heart leaped in her throat. Don't you dare. What about the rumors with Yang Li? Jiang Yin asked, seemingly casually. His thin lips were still roaming her pale neck, gradually exploring her collarbone. So, that matter wasn't over after all. What's kept for last is always the most lethal. I already explained, Yun Yin said, her voice trembling slightly, as he lightly unfastened a button on her chest. The man clutched her slender waist, his lips slowly moving down her open collar, his voice muffled. You expect me to believe you? You do. Yun Yin's breathing grew ragged. Jiang Yin's movements paused, and he looked up at her. After a moment, he straightened up, a half-smile on his face. What did you just say? That I believe you? Jiang Yin chuckled. What would your attitude be if I said I didn't believe you? Yun Yin's heart pounded, and she lowered her eyes. It would be like a sealed kiln. Jiang Yin's eyes flickered, and the slight tightening of his lips made his expression unnatural. After a long silence, he finally spoke, sounding annoyed. Would I dare? I almost lost my life. He glanced at her again. I watched you grow up, and I didn't know you could even wield a knife. Yun Yin lowered her eyes and retorted, What's wrong with me defending myself? Jiang Yin looked at her and said, Back then Yun Yin looked up at him. Jiang Yin fell silent, not continuing, and after a long while he softly said, It won't happen again. Yun Yin was startled. Jiang Yin didn't say anything more and let go of her. Yun Yin's heart finally settled. It was all right. After a long time, he said, I'll consider the proposal submitted by the Major Projects Department, but, he changed his tone, I won't let you liaise with C-Ting-Yuan. Give up on that idea. Yun Yin found this both funny and frustrating, thinking to herself, Department 1 has so many talented people. Even if I wanted a liaison, it wouldn't be my turn. That's truly amusing. But she didn't voice these thoughts. Why make him unhappy? It would only hurt both of them. She just hummed in agreement. If they could cooperate, this job would be very suitable for Bai Li. Bai Li, she recalled Yang Li's words again. Those two truly were something. One a straight man who couldn't express himself, the other so concerned with saving face that she suffered in silence, unwilling to ask. Seeing her agree so readily, Jiang Yin looked at her with suspicion. I thought you'd refuse. Why would I refuse? I want to progress with the project, not strengthen interpersonal communication. Yun Yin had thought it through clearly. This answer seemed to soften the look in Jiang Yin's eyes considerably, and the corners of his mouth curved into a faint smile, though it wasn't very obvious, or perhaps he was clearly trying to hide it. And that Yang Li, since rumors are out, keep your distance from him when you have nothing to do. Jiang Yin said irritably. Yun Yin took a step back. The clear will naturally be clear. The more you explain such things, the less people listen. As long as those who believe, believe. She was thinking of Bai Li. As long as Bai Li didn't misunderstand her, that was enough. After saying this, Yun Yin left. Jiang Yin leaned against the table, pondering Yun Yin's somewhat awkward words for a long time. As long as those who believe, believe. Was she talking about him? Yun Yin stayed in the project team until close to quitting time, not returning to the CEO's office. The closer it got to quitting time, the livelier the project team became. During the day, they were either in meetings or out supervising sites and communicating with clients. Once back in the office, they had a large pile of work, so overtime became the norm, especially in Department 1. Before Bai Li was pregnant, she was a workaholic, so her team was the most enduring. Yun Yin wasn't even considered part of the project team, yet sometimes she couldn't handle their high-intensity work. It was quite heartbreaking to think that those young colleagues in the project team already had white hair. Yang Li arrived in Department 1, bought milk tea and snack for everyone, and then told them, go home and rest early if you can. Work is never-ending. The project team won't stop running without any one person, so you must pay more attention to your health. A female colleague jokingly asked, Deputy Manager Yang, is this benefit only for Department 1, or for all 3 departments? Department 1 had many people belonging to different projects. The colleague who asked this question hadn't worked much with Yun Yin, so the question had a somewhat deliberate undertone. As her words fell, other colleagues' gazes fell on Yun Yin. Yun Yin kept her eyes straight ahead, not participating in the conversation, nor paying attention to the surrounding gazes, diligently recording project data that needed to be reported to the CEO's office immediately. Yang Li seemed too lazy to answer the question. After distributing the milk tea and snacks, he left. Yunyan glanced at Bai Li's desk. What was on it wasn't milk tea and pastries, but sparkling soda water and soda crackers. She smiled faintly and said nothing. Bai Li came to find her 10 minutes before quitting time. Chat. Let's chat. Yunyan happened to want to talk to her too. She thought Bai Li was coming about the rumors, but Bai Li unexpectedly brought up the matter of the C family undertaking the project. I've thought about it. If the Nanzhou project can cooperate with the C family, I'm the most suitable person for the liaison work. In that case, I can transfer her to Nanzhou first. She glanced at her belly. Yunyan nodded. I was thinking the same thing. Bai Li smiled slightly. Great minds think alike. You have something else to talk to me about, don't you? Bai Li hesitated. Not really. The rumors don't bother you? Bai Li looked at her. To say I don't care is a lie, but because you're the female lead of the rumor, I don't believe it. Yunyan was touched, sighing as she asked. So you don't believe Yang Li? Bai Li smiled bitterly, not speaking. Didn't Yang Li talk to you? Or aren't you curious what Yang Li told me? Yunyan asked. Talk to me, Bai Li said. He did ask me to wait for him after work. Speaking of this, she smiled, a helpless smile. What else could Yang Li talk to you about? 10 to 1. He sensed that you know I'm pregnant, so he wants to sound you out. Yunyan watched this scene and sighed. The misunderstanding is really deep. She thought for a moment and said, I think Yang Li will tell you some very important things tonight. No matter what, you must wait for him. Bai Li looked at her suspiciously. Since you already believe me this time too. Yunyan thought, these two really are something. It would be better for Yang Li to clarify some things with Bai Li face to face. They chatted for only a few minutes. Not long after Yunyan sat down, she felt the air around them suddenly grow cold. The sounds of munching snacks and discussing plans, the clinking of milk tea cups, the gurgle of hot water for instant noodles, all seemed to vanish. Yunyan didn't notice anything at first, until she heard someone call out, General Manager Jiang. Greetings rose one after another. Yunyan was startled, her hand movements paused, and she turned to look. It was Jiang Yunyan, who had come to the project team, followed by leaders from other departments. She didn't think much of it, assuming he was looking for Yang Li, but then she saw him walk straight towards her. Yunyan quickly pressed confirm and save. Before he could even speak after approaching, she quickly said, the report is done. I'll print it for you now. She thought he was rushing her for the report. She wondered, can't he wait a few more minutes? And this report isn't urgent, is it? Didn't he say it was due tomorrow? Unexpectedly, Jiang Yunyan looked at her and asked, done working? Let's go. After speaking, he took her by the wrist in front of everyone. Yunyan felt her head hum, and then heard the collective gasps around her. She panicked instantly. Jiang, General Manager Jiang. You don't know how to address people after work? Jiang Yunyan looked down at her, his tone very light. Yunyan's mind was a mess. She could imagine with her toes what rumors would spread throughout the company tomorrow, and her heart pounded anxiously. Jiang Yunyan, what are you doing? Are you trying to die? Now it was hard for her not to notice the surrounding gazes. She subconsciously scanned them, and saw that everyone was secretly looking over, exactly the kind of curious gossipers who dare not be obvious. Yunyan gritted her teeth, closed her eyes. Let fate decide. Uncle Jiang. The next second, she clearly felt the grip on her wrist tighten slightly. She lowered her face, not daring to look at Jiang Yunyan's expression. Please, at this moment, she was the victim, wasn't she? Jiang Yunyan was silent for a moment, then gave a faint Grandma's already arrived at the restaurant. It's not good to make an elder wait for you. Upon hearing this, everyone suddenly understood. Yunyan's heart settled, and she let out a sigh of relief. Her gaze inadvertently swept over Bai Li's face, and she saw Bai Li looking at her with a knowing, half-smiling expression. At this moment, Yunyan realized that Bai Li was truly clever and had seen through everything long ago. My bag is still upstairs, I'll go. Old Lu already put it in the car. Let's go. All right then. Back in the car, her bag was indeed there before her. Old Lu discreetly raised the soundproof partition. Jiang Yunyan had been holding her hand, not letting go, until they got into the car, revealing his true nature. His large hand reached over and gently pinched her face. I've noticed you're calling me Uncle Jiang more and more smoothly, aren't you? Yunyan looked up at him. In that situation, just now, what did you want me to call you? If she had called him Young Master Yin, it would have invited criticism. Jiang Yunyan saw through her thoughts, the smile in his eyes both genuine and feigned. You're not afraid of rumors with Yang Li, but you're afraid with me? Because there's nothing between me and Yang Li. I behave correctly and properly. Conversely, her relationship with Jiang Yunyan was very complicated. Jiang Yunyan pursed his lips and smiled, looking very languid. Unexpectedly, he raised a hand and stroked her head, as if indulging her. Yunyin couldn't fathom his current mood and asked him, "The restaurant thing, you made that up, didn't you?" Otherwise, Jiang Yunyin tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear, saying as lightly as a breeze, "That's the most direct way to dispel rumors." Yunyin thought, "Your way of dispelling rumors is truly simple and crude." "Where are we going?" Yunyin asked. Jiang Yunyin stretched out his arm and pulled her into his embrace, lowering his head to find her lips, murmuring, "First to the restaurant for dinner, and then for a wonderful night." Yunyin's heart leaped. When Yunyin saw Bai Li again, she could clearly see the joy and happiness in her eyes. She understood. During lunch break, she went to Bai Li's desk and placed 2 bottles of sparkling soda water in front of her, sighing, "A straight man is a straight man indeed. Not only does he get emotional in love, but knowing you can drink soda water, he just buys it for you relentlessly, and only one flavor." Yang Li isn't low in emotional or intellectual intelligence, so why is he so slow when it comes to romance? In the past, Bai Li definitely wouldn't have responded, but today she grabbed the sparkling water and said he's just honest. Yunyin covered her mouth and smiled. Indeed, things had been made clear. Yunyin knew she couldn't hide it from Bai Li, not after the look Bai Li had just given her. Perhaps Bai Li had known ever since Manager Wang was silently dealt with. Yunyin didn't know how to explain, and after a long while, could only whisper, "Mr. Jiang and I, our situation is different from yours." No matter how much of a dense man one was, or how slow-witted the other, they were at least in a normal romantic relationship. But what about her and Jiang Yinyin? In front of others, she called him Mr. Jiang, young Master Yin, and even uncle. But behind closed doors, she had to climb into his bed, indulging wantonly again and again. She wasn't his girlfriend, nor his fiancée. To put it nicely, she was a secret lover. To put it bluntly, she was a bedwarmer he'd paid for. Bai Li was smart and didn't pry into the matter. She gently took Yunyin's hand and said, "While there's a lot I don't know about you, having spent this time together, I know what kind of person you are. Yunyin, you're very different from what I imagined, and unlike those spoiled young ladies I've met. You look strong, but in reality, you're very fragile." Yunyin looked up at her and smiled faintly. "Is it that obvious? Our upbringing environments are different, but some emotions are universal. The Yu family is in a difficult situation now, and your joining Zhongshe is really just to pave a way for the Yu family's future. I used to have prejudices against you, but now I really admire you. As for Yang Li and me, I'm very grateful to you." She squeezed Yunyin's hand. "Anyway, just tell me if you need my help. You know me, I usually have a sharp tongue, but a kind heart." "Okay," Yunyin said, touched. In a blink, the end of the year arrived. The closer it got to the year-end, the busier the company became. Yunyin was also keeping a close eye on projects, as a lot of Bai Li's work had been distributed to her. Yang Li turned a blind eye to this, as his focus hadn't been on work lately. One day, Yunyin inadvertently saw him choosing a ring. He looked rather embarrassed after being caught, cleared his throat, and warned Yunyin, "Don't tell Bai Li." Yunyin feigned surprise. "Don't tell her? Are you two timing?" Yang Li immediately panicked, his face red and neck thick. "Nonsense." Yunyin really wanted to laugh, but held it in. "All right, the surprise is safe. We'll await your heroic appearance." Inside, she felt envious and genuinely happy for Bai Li. Bai Li hadn't misjudged him. She also chuckled at herself. She had initially approached Bai Li with selfish motives, but now her selfishness had turned into hoping Bai Li would be happy. With Yang Li turning a blind eye, the other 2 departments in the major project team started to voice their opinions, and some unpleasant remarks occasionally surfaced. "She's not even part of the project team. Does she really think that just because she's a special assistant, she's second only to the boss? Is she just a special assistant? Didn't you hear her call Mr. Jiang uncle? Even someone as principled as Yang Li has to give her the green light. It's good to have connections and a background. That's called being born into the right family. Even if she's a fallen heiress, she comes from a prominent background. You could say a starving camel is still bigger than a horse." Yunyin ignored these rumors as if they were just wind passing her ears. It was fortunate they only went this far and didn't say anything worse. During this time, Si Tingyuan called her. While catching up, they also discussed work matters. Si Tingyuan hadn't been in Beishur recently, but planned to come a couple of days and hoped to have the opportunity to invite her to dinner. Dinner was out of the question, especially at this time. Although the bidding partner hadn't been finalized as the Si family, Jiang Yinyin's frequent calls for meetings with Yang Li made it almost certain. Yunyin didn't participate in their discussions because the project team was short-staffed, so Yunyin politely declined Si Tingyuan's invitation. Meeting privately during the bidding process was too sensitive. More importantly, Yunyin had found Si Tingyuan inscrutable from the very beginning. As a businessman who could sit in the top seat, his thoughts were naturally as deep as the sea. She didn't want to provoke Si Tingyuan, nor did she want to try to understand him. Si Tingyuan understood her reason for declining, smiled, and didn't press the issue. Instead, he brought up something else. In the Nanzhou project, the Si family and Zhongshe are evenly matched. Once a competitive relationship is confirmed, it won't be good for either side. The Zhan family also got involved earlier, but their share was completely swallowed by Jiang Yinyan. Did you know about this? Yunyan was utterly shocked to hear this. The Zhan family had also dabbled in Nanzhou. She knew nothing about this. Recalling Jiang Yinyan's past attitude towards the Zhan family, it made sense that he hadn't told her these things. Jiang Yinyan went on a business trip out of town, accompanied by the head of the marketing department in Yangli. Logically, as the CEO's special assistant, Yunyan should have gone along, but news came from the sanatorium that Song Lan hadn't been feeling well these past 2 days, so Jiang Yinyan didn't let her accompany him. Yunyan shuttled between the sanatorium and the company. Jiang Yinyan left Old Lu in Beishur, ready to be dispatched by Yunyan at any time. Yunyan knew that Old Lu was always inseparable from Jiang Yinyan, so his being left in Beishur for a while made her feel at a loss. Jiang Yinyan said, "With Old Lu watching, I'm at ease." Yunyan's heart had just begun to stir when she heard Jiang Yinyan calmly add, "Otherwise, I wouldn't even know if you cheated on me." As he spoke, Jiang Yinyan had just finished being intimate with her and hadn't yet withdrawn from her body. He held her close, his thin lips lingering on her porcelain-white skin, still not satisfied. Yunyan was like a fish stripped of its bones, collapsing bonelessly in his arms, devoid of strength to evade his post-coital passion. But after hearing that remark, she was utterly surprised and turned to look at him. "Better safe than sorry, isn't it?" Jiang Yinyan said, half joking, half serious. Yunyan didn't want to answer that question. Her turned-away face was gently brought back by Jiang Yinyan. He chuckled softly and asked, "Will you fall for someone else?" Yunyan flinched, her body tensing up. This stimulated Jiang Yinyan, who grunted softly. His large hand gently patted her waist, coaxing, "Relax, don't be so tight." That single sentence made Yunyan's face flush completely red again. "You?" Jiang Yinyan took the opportunity to press her back down beneath him. The woman's gasps and the man's comfortable sighs rose simultaneously. He cupped the back of her head with one hand, his forehead resting against hers, his eyes dark and unfathomable. "I'm asking you." Yunyan clearly felt him stirring again, her beautiful eyes clouded with a thin film of tears, weakly pleading, "Young Master Yin, I'm so tired." Jiang Yinyan cupped her waist, his muscular body pressing down completely, lowering his head to swallow her gasps, then softly commanded, "Answer me." "No." Jiang Yinyan, passionate as fire, lightly kissed the corner of her lips and whispered, "Won't what?" "Won't like anyone else." Jiang Yinyan was satisfied. Good girl. Song Lan was fine. She just hadn't had much appetite these past 2 days, and the doctor said she didn't like to eat. Yunyan went to the sanatorium every day, but each time she was met with a wall. Either Song Lan was sleeping in bed and wouldn't see anyone, or she was in the greenhouse tending to her orchid, ignoring everyone. No matter what Yunyan said to her, Song Lan seemed not to hear. Yunyan finally broke down. After watching Song Lan return to her room, she hid in the hallway and cried. Tears streamed down uncontrollably. When Jiang Yinyan called, she was suppressing her sobs. After finally stabilizing her emotions, she uttered a hello into the phone. The man's ears were quite sharp. He asked her, "Were you crying?" Yunyan stubbornly said no. Jiang Yinyan chuckled softly on the other end of the phone and told her, "The director told me Aunt Lan hasn't liked eating these past 2 days, but there's no major problem, so you don't need to worry." Yunyan hummed in response. Her throat still felt constricted. Beyond worrying about Song Lan's health, there was a greater sense of grievance. The current Song Lan didn't even want to spare her a glance, completely treating her like a stranger. "Jiang Yinyan," she whispered, "you know, don't you?" "What?" "You mentioned my mother's condition before." Yunyan felt like she had run into a dead end, the stifling anxiety in her heart refusing to dissipate. "What exactly happened? Tell me, what exactly happened?" Silence on the other end of the phone. After a long pause, he said, "You're not suitable to stay at the sanatorium right now. Go back to the car and let Old Lu take you home." Yunyan tried several times to control her emotions, but her voice was still choked when she spoke. "I don't want to—" He still didn't say. Jiang Yinyan seemed to sigh on the other end. "Don't worry. I've already instructed the director. Aunt Lan will be fine." Yunyan squatted down, huddled in the corner. She didn't know what was wrong with her. She had actually been getting by like this for the past 2 years, but today she felt exceptionally fragile. "One more thing. Spend New Year's Eve at the Jiang family's house this year." Yunyan's eyes widened, her voice trembling. "Huh? It's the old madam's wish. She's invited you and Yuan Zhou," Jiang Yinyan said indifferently. "I'm at the sanatorium. You spend every New Year's Eve at the sanatorium, and in the end, Aunt Lan still doesn't see you, does she?" Jiang Yinyan interrupted her. "Take care of yourself first." Only when you're comfortable can you be in the mood to care for others, understand? He added, the old madam just acknowledged you. According to old family customs, you need to spend this New Year's Eve at the Jiang family's house. It wasn't that Yun Yin didn't want to accompany the old Madame Jiang. Ordinarily, she would have gone without a second thought. But on New Year's Eve, all the other Jiang family members would be there, and the thought of that whole family still made her nervous. She couldn't help but ask, then, will you return to the Jiang family for New Year's Eve? He chuckled on the other end of the phone. Do you want me to go back? Yun Yin pursed her lips and, after a long moment, said, I hope so, and I don't. She was afraid of him, but at the same time, quite intimidated by facing the other Jiang family members apart from old Madame Jiang. Jiang Yinyin was amused on the other end of the phone. In the end, he didn't say whether he would return to the Jiang family on New Year's Eve, but based on Yun Yin's understanding of the family, all Jiang family children were expected to return to the old residence for New Year's Eve. However, before New Year's Eve even arrived, a huge piece of gossip broke out. It immediately shot to the top of the trending topics. The moment this news broke, it instantly obliterated the quietly circulating rumors about Yun Yin and Jiang Yinyin. Rumors like Yun Yin leaning on a powerful patron for comfort, or taking advantage of her proximity to him, and even more subtle ones, subtly questioning whether Yun Yin and Jiang Yinyin had a secret affair, all were overshadowed by the gossip about Mo La and Jiang Zhixing. It exploded so quickly because the paparazzi weren't just talking. They released several very clear photos, giving this so-called gossip tangible proof. For photos of Mo La and Jiang Zhixing together. Two showed them entering and leaving a hotel together. Mo La linking arms with Jiang Zhixing, looking exceptionally intimate. The other two were in a car, one of them passionately kissing, and another, more explicit one, showed Mo La straddling Jiang Zhixing's lap, clearly suggestive. After the Secretariat recommended the trending topic to Yun Yin, her first thought upon clicking on it was, Jiang Yinyin has been cheated on. Good heavens, in her lifetime, she actually got to witness such explosive news? She could almost picture Jiang Yinyin burning with rage. Regardless of whether Jiang Yinyin wanted to marry Mo La, even if their relationship had clearly broken down, neither family had publicly announced the cancellation of the engagement. So, in the eyes of outsiders, Mo La and Jiang Yinyin were still connected. And then, Jiang Zhixing just barges in? This must be a huge blow to Jiang Yinyin's reputation. Yun Yin wasn't sure if her intense interest was because Jiang Yinyin was involved, or simply because she enjoyed watching the drama unfold. In any case, she was constantly following this explosive topic. Yet, for most of the day, neither the Jiang family nor the Mo La family made any public statement. Even the two individuals involved didn't come forward. It was as if they adopted a casual attitude, letting people guess and speculate whatever they wanted. Yun Yin knew Mo La was someone who acted on her own whim and had a very strong personality. But involving such significant family interests, Yun Yin felt she couldn't be so thoughtless as to reach this point. All sorts of things were being said online. Most netizens marveled at how open the wealthy families were, with one woman involved with two prominent figures from the capital's elite circles. It was truly eye-opening. Some also commented that Jiang Zhixing's poaching was quite brazen. Mo La was practically his sister-in-law, and he dared to flirt. Others suggested that the wedding between the Mo La family and the crown prince had always been shrouded in mystery. Although there were hints, it was never officially announced, so perhaps the two had already broken up. Some even extended the topic, saying this was a case of keeping the benefits in the family. Immediately after, netizens analyzed Jiang Zhixing's status in the Jiang family. Didn't people understand why Mo La would choose Jiang Zhixing over Jiang Yinyin? As the eldest son's lineage, Jiang Yinyin being called the crown prince, meant his status was far superior to Jiang Zhixing's. Any woman, especially one pursuing benefits from an arranged marriage, would choose Jiang Yinyin over Jiang Zhixing. So, a netizen came up with a possibility. Jiang Yinyin was impotent. This possibility became a trending comment. Some netizens said that the capital's crown prince rarely appeared in public. Even when he did, it was only his profile or back. Such aversion to the camera most likely indicated a flaw. Although his occasional profile or back view looked decent, and his physique seemed robust, there was no guarantee he wasn't just a pretty face, good-looking but useless. In contrast, from the paparazzi's leaked candid photos, Jiang Zhixing appeared tall, imposing, and handsome. Especially in the two passionate photos from a car, one could sense the sexual tension just by looking at them. So Mo La must have fallen for him. People who proposed this viewpoint were reasoning backward. If the crown prince was superior to Jiang Zhixing in terms of looks, physique, and physiological needs, then why would Mo La cheat? Then another voice emerged. It was said that the crown prince was only recognized by old Master Jiang after he became an adult. Where he lived before and what he did were completely unknown, making him quite mysterious. Compared to other Jiang family descendants, the crown prince seemed out of place. Perhaps he had a hidden illness. Otherwise, why would a perfectly normal person be so secretive? In short, there were various opinions online. Yunyan looked at all these wild speculations and couldn't help but laugh, especially at the comment saying Jiang Yunyan couldn't perform. She wished she had mouse all over her body to tell everyone that he wasn't impotent. He was a beast, civilized by day and revealing his true nature by night. Although she didn't know Jiang Zhixing's situation, she was certain that with Jiang Yunyan's insatiable desires, anyone would want to escape. Could it be Mo La chose Jiang Zhixing not because Jiang Yunyan couldn't perform, but because he was too good at it? Those two. Surely nothing happened between them, right? Yunyan quickly reined in these chaotic thoughts. If these ideas ran wild, they could easily draw her in too deeply. Then she remembered something else. Yunyan suddenly recalled Jiang Yunyan mentioning Mo La before, and saying something would happen. Could he have known about Mo La and Jiang Zhixing all along? It gave her a headache to think about. Yunyan scrolled down the page. Online, there were various discussions about Jiang Yunyan not having grown up in the Jiang family. She thought that Jiang Yunyan's dislike for cameras was most likely related to his childhood experiences, but more importantly, it should be, she remembered the master boo they had mentioned before. Yunyan faintly sensed that, compared to his days as a bodyguard in the Yu family, Jiang Yunyan might be more wary of his life after leaving the Yu family. So, his aversion to cameras and rare public appearances might be the real reason. The gossip about Mo La and Jiang Zhixing simmered online all day long. When Jiang Yunyan called that evening, he surprisingly didn't mention it. He was still out of town, likely just finished a meeting as his voice sounded tired. He first made a call, hung up after a few words, and quickly switched to a video call. Yunyan had just finished her evening routine and was applying a face mask. Seeing the video call, she didn't remove the mask and answered with a bright white face. The lighting on her side was dim, making her face appear exceptionally white. So when the video started, Jiang Yunyan was clearly startled. Seeing this, Yunyan couldn't help but want to laugh. Fortunately, the mask covered her facial expression. She nestled back into bed. From the bedside lamp and headboard, her location was clear, so Jiang Yunyan noticed instantly. Why didn't you come back to my place? There was no hint of blame in his tone. Yunyan replied, of course I'd go back to my own home. It was more comfortable to be in her own space, even if her apartment wasn't as big as his house. Jiang Yunyan didn't argue. From the video, it was clear he was also back at a hotel, having showered, his hair still wet. He wasn't wearing a bathrobe, his upper body was bare. The soft, warm yellow light in the room effectively highlighted his excellent and visually striking physique. Even if Yunyan thought he was a scoundrel, she couldn't help but be attracted to his physique. Like at this moment, Jiang Yunyan on screen was utterly seductive. Like a meticulously sculpted statue, every inch of his muscle was filled with power and aesthetic beauty. His shoulders were broad and firm, exuding complete security. His chest was strong and full, with distinct lines. Further down, one could vaguely see his abdomen, taut and flat, without an ounce of excess fat. And his waistline, not visible in the frame, flowed smoothly and elegantly, forming a sharp contrast with his broad shoulders. Further down were his long, powerful legs, with smooth, natural muscle lines, though she couldn't tell if they were covered by a towel. Yunyan quickly withdrew her thoughts. She wondered silently if Jiang Yunyan knew about today's trending topic. Jiang Yunyan leaned against the headboard, looking very languid and sexy. It seemed he didn't have anything important to discuss with her. It was just a casual chat. He raised an eyebrow slightly, a hint of roguishness appearing. You're wearing a bit much. Yunyan was wearing a satin nightgown. To say she was wearing a lot wasn't quite right. Indoor temperatures in Beishur during winter were quite warm, so heavy clothing wasn't necessary. Most of her loungewear since childhood had been silk, often with suzhou embroidery. It wasn't that she particularly loved them, but her mother, Song Lan, had prepared them for her since she was little. Song Lan loved wearing kipayos and naturally hoped Yunyan would embody the elegance of a well-bred young lady, even in her clothes. So Yunyan was used to wearing silk. Of course, besides silk, she also liked cotton and linen, which she usually wore in summer. She liked the texture of cotton and linen. They became softer, cooler, and more comfortable with each wear. Jiang Yunyan chuckled from the other end of the phone. Unbutton it. Let Uncle have a look. Half joking, half serious. Stop fooling around. Fooling around? Jiang Yunyan laughed on his end. Have I ever fooled around with you about this kind of thing? Then, with interest, he added, take it off. Jiang Yunyan. Yunyan felt it was necessary to tell him about the trending topic. He seemed so relaxed. He probably had no idea. He responded lazily from his end. Yunyan asked, "Did you see today's trending topic?" She paused, then added, "About Mo La and Jiang Zhixing." After saying this, she stared intently at Jiang Yinyan's face. However, Jiang Yinyan showed no surprise or astonishment, still lazily stating, "I was in meetings all day today. I barely touched my phone." See? Yunyan's heart was in her throat. Jiang Yinyan was completely unaware. Mo La and Jiang Zhixing, Jiang Yinyan said languidly again. Their relationship got exposed? This twist made Yunyan gasp in surprise. Jiang Yinyan seemed amused by her expression, his lips curving upward. "What's with that reaction? Isn't it about them? Didn't you say you hadn't checked the trending topics?" Yunyan was astonished but quickly realized. "You already knew about them." Jiang Yinyan lazily hummed in affirmation. Yunyan was petrified. After a long while, she found her voice. "Then, when did you know?" "I knew a long time ago." Jiang Yinyan didn't hide it from her. "Jiang Zhixing has liked Mo La for more than just a day or two. Since he likes her, I simply facilitated it. Is there anything wrong with that? Who could possibly remain so calm and collected after learning they've been cuckolded? Especially Jiang Yinyan, with his status as a princeling of the capital. Even an ordinary man would blow up over something like this, regardless of whether he liked the woman or not. To put it plainly, it's not about love or lack thereof. It's purely about a man's pride. Yet, Jiang Yinyan reacted like this. Then it couldn't simply be that he just knew the two of them had already been together for a while. It was highly probable that Jiang Yinyan had personally orchestrated Mora and Jiang Zhixing getting together. Yunyan had guessed this much, but Jiang Yinyan on the other end of the phone showed no surprise. A faint smile played in his eyes, and he maintained his leisurely, languid posture. "Do you know why I like you?" Yunyan was taken aback. "Because you're very clever. Some things I don't need to spell out for you. You figure them out on your own." Jiang Yinyan chuckled softly. She had guessed it, but hearing him admit it directly was a different matter entirely. Her state of mind was completely different. At that moment, Yunyan was naturally astonished. No, astonished would be an understatement for her current feelings. The thought that rushed to her mind was, Jiang Yinyan is insane. So she blurted out that very thought. "Jiang Yinyan, are you insane?" Jiang Yinyan seemed amused. His thick eyebrows arched slightly as he countered, "How am I insane? Why would you do that?" Yunyan was utterly flabbergasted. She'd never heard of someone designing their own cuckold situation. It was truly an eye-opener. On the other end of the phone, Jiang Yinyan leaned back even further, his posture becoming even more languid. The Jiang family was a prominent household in the capital's elite circles. The elders of the Jiang family placed extreme importance on etiquette and cultivation, so the younger generations always displayed self-restraint and adherence to proper conduct. Every gesture and movement was regulated, calm, and dignified. Even Jiang Zhe never appeared unruly, always maintaining politeness and decorum. Even Jiang Yinyan, who had only returned to the Jiang family midway through, and no matter how many overt or covert schemes he might be hatching, was still expected to maintain the dignified bearing of a scion from a prominent family in his every movement. So, as Yunyan observed Jiang Yinyan's languid posture, she thought that if the matriarch were to see this, she'd surely scold him. Can't guess. It seemed he really had time tonight, willing to bicker with her. Yunyan didn't want to rack her brains. Seeing her hesitation, Jiang Yinyan kindly explained, if the Jiang family proposed breaking off the engagement, it would undoubtedly damage the Mora family's prestige. And the relationship between the two families, while not completely severed, would certainly cool significantly. However, if another Jiang family member were to steal the fiancé, the nature of the situation changes entirely. The more active Jiang Zhixing appears, the more passive I seem. If you were a member of the Mora family, what would you think at this moment? Naturally, the human reaction would be guilt. Guilt towards the Jiang family's main branch. And with the die cast, the Mora family couldn't possibly withstand such immense pressure and continue the alliance with the main branch. But it's the Mora family we're talking about. Could they really be so easily manipulated? Yunyan raised her doubts. Jiang Yinyan chuckled. You can figure out this as a ploy. Do you think the Mora family couldn't? Or even Mora herself? Then they'd still cooperate? Yunyan was puzzled. Just because it went viral? Jiang Yinyan's low voice was magnetic and sensual. Viral? If Mora didn't want it to, do you think this gossip would ever be released? Even if it somehow got out of control, the Mora family wouldn't care about trending topics. Then, there's only one reason Mora and the Mora family would compromise. Jiang Yinyan chuckled softly. Mora fell in love with Jiang Zhixing, so she wouldn't accept an arranged marriage with anyone else. Yunyan was utterly astonished. Jiang Yinyan watched her with interest. If Jiang Zhixing saw your expression, He be hurt. He is a Jiang family member, a scion of the capital elite, and quite good-looking, wouldn't you say? It's rare to hear you praise someone like that, Yunyan mumbled. It was merely a passing grumble, but she hadn't intended for the man on the other end of the phone to hear it so clearly. He said, "Who says? I've praised you before." Yunyan scoffed. "Praised? Beautiful, good figure, smart. Haven't I praised you for all these?" Jiang Yunyan watched her, his eyes slowly darkening with a clear, deliberate intention. "More importantly, you're alluring enough in bed." Yunyan gritted her teeth and ended the call. She knew it. His conversations always ended without anything good to say. Soon, her phone rang again. It was Jiang Yunyan's video call. No one, she imagined, had ever hung up on this man like that. Yunyan simply didn't answer. She tossed her phone aside. He wasn't in Beishir anyway. What could he do to her from thousands of miles away? The phone rang for a long time, then stopped. Soon, a message came through. Answer the phone. Yunyan pretended not to see it. Jiang Yunyan sent another message. Yunyan, you're getting a bit too big for your britches, aren't you? Yunyan lay on her bed, a face mask on, treating it as a period of rest and recuperation. Her phone rang again, another video call. She simply didn't move. This time he called twice, Jiang Yunyan proving quite persistent. Then a voice message arrived. "You think I can't do anything to you, huh? Aren't you afraid I'll save this up for later? Wait until I get back to settle accounts with you." Yunyan thought to herself, life is about muddling through. Future problems can be dealt with later. The phone finally fell silent. But Yunyan's mind didn't quiet down. Lying in bed, she kept thinking about Mora and Jiang Zhixing. Speaking of Jiang Zhixing, he was indeed a handsome man. Purely in terms of looks, he was certainly no less striking than Jiang Yunyan. The Jiang family produced handsome men, and Jiang Zhixing was one of the finest. His physique was also excellent. One could say Jiang Zhixing perfectly matched Mora's aesthetic preferences. Back then, Mora often mentioned Jiang Yunyan in front of her. Mora had confided in her that she was attracted to Jiang Yunyan the moment she saw him. Not because of his prominent family background, but purely because of his looks and physique. She half-jokingly told Yunyan that if Jiang Yunyan wasn't a Jiang, just an ordinary man, she would absolutely find every way to get him, even if it was just a one-night stand. Mora had openly admitted her desire for Jiang Yunyan, giving the reason. Desire for food and sex is human nature. It's only natural. It wasn't only men who lusted after women's bodies. Women also harbored fantasies about exceptionally fit men. And of course, there was a chance for men to fantasize about other men. Back then, Mora didn't yet know about her relationship with Jiang Yunyan. Perhaps Mora never imagined that the man she so wholeheartedly coveted was spending every night in another woman's bed. Yunyan realized her thoughts were wandering. She reined in her scattered thoughts and considered Mora herself. So, as Jiang Yunyan had just said, Jiang Zhixing possessed the qualities that could truly captivate Mora. But why? As Yunyan thought about this, she suddenly realized she'd missed a crucial point. Or rather, she had asked earlier, but Jiang Yunyan hadn't answered the fundamental question. She turned her head to stare at her phone. Call him and ask? The moment the thought surged into her mind, she immediately suppressed it. No, forget it. This matter didn't really concern her anyway. Why did she need to know every precise detail? Yunyan got out of bed and went to the bathroom. As she rinsed the face mask off, the suspicion in her heart resurfaced. According to Jiang Yunyan, Jiang Zhixing had always been interested in Mora, and the reason he'd only acted now was because Jiang Yunyan had personally orchestrated it. But what was Jiang Yunyan's purpose in doing this? Was there some kind of plot involved? She dried her face, gazing at herself in the mirror, a pensive look in her eyes. She really should know clearly, shouldn't she? After all, she was essentially tied to Jiang Yunyan now. If she didn't know his plans and intentions in advance, what would she do if this fire eventually burned her? She truly couldn't just take things one step at a time. As the saying went, he who gives no thought to the distant future will find sorrow near at hand. Yunyan returned to bed, fiddling with her phone in her hand before finally deciding to ask. She dialed his number, only for the call to be directly cut off on his end. Was he displeased or just busy? Half naked in bed, what kind of official business could he possibly be busy with? Unless there was a woman with him. Just as she thought this, she saw a message from Jiang Yunyan. Video call. That tone. But then, she was extremely curious about this question. She initiated a video call. Jiang Yunyan answered. Yunyan, who gave you the nerve? He said languidly, though he didn't appear angry. Didn't I call you back? I was just washing my face. If I didn't, my skin would get so dry. You know how dry Beishir winters are. Yunyan concocted a lie. Jiang Yunyan chuckled softly. Dry? I thought you were quite moist. Jiang Yunyan. What did I say wrong? Jiang Yunyan feigned innocence. Is your skin dry? Yunyan pressed her lips together. He was doing this on purpose. Is there something you want to ask me? Jiang Yunyan knew her well. Hearing this, Yunyan was direct. Why did you orchestrate them getting together? Jiang Yinyan's tone was flat. You might as well ask me why I didn't want to ally with the Mora family in the first place. Yes, that's exactly what I want to ask. Jiang Yinyan gave an enigmatic smile. It's very simple. I just didn't want to. Yunyan was stunned. Why would I marry a woman I don't like and bring her home? Am I crazy? Jiang Yinyan retorted. Jiang Yinyan's words made Yunyan feel. No, arranged marriages aren't typically about liking someone, are they? It's not hard to understand, is it? Otherwise, why did you break off your engagement with Jiang Zhe? Jiang Yinyan frowned. My breaking off the engagement with Jiang Zhe wasn't because of his betrayal. The fundamental reason was the decline of the Yu family. Alliances are essentially between two entities. If not equally matched, then close enough. Otherwise, one side inevitably has to rely on the other. I didn't want that, and I genuinely found Jiang Zhe repulsive, Yunyan stated clearly. So, our situations are different. And therefore, she paused, pondering for a moment, then continued. You're using like or dislike as your standard for an arranged marriage, and I think. You think what? Jiang Yinyan's frown deepened. Yunyan cleared her throat. I think that's just an excuse. Jiang Yinyan was a man whose thoughts were as deep as the ocean. There was no telling what he might be secretly plotting. Unexpectedly, her words clearly displeased Jiang Yinyan. She wasn't mistaken. Anyone, even through a screen, could clearly sense his displeasure. He shot back at her. I don't like her, so what's wrong with not wanting to marry her? Is that so strange? With that, he ended the call. Yinyan stood there, phone in hand, stunned for a long while. What was that all about? What had she said to make him turn so abruptly hostile? How could his mood be so unpredictable tonight? In short, Yunyan just felt that Jiang Yinyan was acting strangely tonight, especially when he mentioned the reason for not wanting an arranged marriage. His tone was almost childishly stubborn. No, hadn't he guessed she had a question to ask? He was the one who told her to ask it. Her phone vibrated.